Good morning, and thanks for tuning in to another edition of Walk With Me. It's your boy Dope Boy 850, and the title of this video is Threats to Obama. You see, in 2008, as a black man, I didn't want to vote for Barack Obama. I felt in 2008 that if we elected a black president, that it would wake up racism in this country. Something that we all Americans were trying to move past. And what has happened? 4 years later, racism is live and well in this country. I didn't want to vote for Barack Obama in 2008 because I felt like his record in the state Senate was one of someone who is not a leader. He voted president 180 something times. And so I didn't want to vote for Barack Obama because I didn't feel like he had the leadership qualities that would make him successful in the presidency. 4 years later, we see that he doesn't have the leadership qualities that it takes to make a good president. He whines and panders when it's his own fault. He chose to waste his political capital on health care, even though it had nothing to do with the real agenda that the American people needed. They needed a strong leader on the economy. They needed a strong leader for jobs. They needed a strong leader against financial reform. They needed a strong leader, a leader to take the Bush war machine and make sure those war criminals were held accountable. You see, but he wasted his political capital on health care. And it destroyed him from doing anything on the economy. Him himself came out and said that they misjudged how bad the financial crisis was. You misjudged it, Mr. President, because you wanted to be a celebratory president. You wanted to keep your promise to Ted Kennedy. You wanted to do something no other president before you was able to do, and that's health care reform. So instead of staying focused on the economy, instead of staying focused on jobs, you tried to go for the Holy Grail to make yourself seem to be this historic president. And now you're a historic failure. This is a shame. It's a shame when a black president can be elected to the White House, the presidency of the United States, and then turn around to black people and tell them that they're not going to support any policies that specifically help those who have suffered the most. Barack Obama, yes. Barack Obama turned to black people after being elected and said, "I'm the president of all Americans. That I will not support any specific policies that will support any specific race, because I'm the president of all Americans." But yet he's offered more to the Hispanics than he done to black people. That's a race, President Obama. Are you not championing the DREAM Act? Are you not championing immigration reform, which we know will go to help one specific race in this country? Now we got this problem with homosexual marriage and the president's views on that, because Joe Biden came out for it, and you know it was a White House ploy. The vice president ain't gonna come out and say something unless the president has agreed to it, or at least knows something about it. And then the very next day, the Secretary of Education comes out and says the exact same thing that Joe Biden says. But yet, as black citizens, we're left to feel like Barack Obama's still with us. Black people cannot vote for Barack Obama because he will sign federal legislation for homosexual marriage in his next term. That goes against everything black people stand for. And don't believe the news reports on MSNBC, because they've been brainwashing black folks for years. They always put up a poll where black people are coming around. 50% of black people say they're okay with homosexual marriage. When we know for a fact, every time black people have been given a chance to vote for or against homosexual marriage, they vote against it. 2/3 majority. But that don't stop the MSNBC brainwashing machine of black citizens. And that goes to the whole point of this video. Black people can no longer support the Democratic Party. Black people are the most churched people in the world. They believe in Christianity. They're believers in religion. They're the most church people in the whole entire world. But yet they subscribe to a party that is waging a war against religion. They subscribe to a Democratic Party that embraces atheism. Black people have voted 2/3 majority against homosexual marriage, but the Democratic Party supports the institution of homosexual marriage, the acceptance of homosexual marriage. And they've stolen the civil rights era and the rights that black people fought for in the civil rights era. They're diminishing that by saying that it is a civil right for a man and a man to marry, or a woman and a woman to marry. That's outrageous. And I urge all black people to distance themselves from the Democratic Party. These people are not for your interests. And that's why I want to talk directly to Barack Obama. Because you know what the black community is tired of, Barack Obama? We're tired of you politicians, the Democratic Party, for not accepting our values, for not fighting for our rights. We have been voting for you for years and got no progress. If Martin Luther King was alive today, he would go to the same neighborhoods and see the same neighborhoods that he was marching for equality, the same neighborhoods where he was marching for great education, good education, the same neighborhoods that he was marching for prosperity are in the same condition that they was in the 50s and 60s. That black people have not made strides to get out of poverty because it's the system that keeps them there. You see, this is not a racist video, but I want to urge Barack Obama to understand, when you were campaigning on the south side of Chicago, that those values that you held then must be the values that you hold now. And see, what Barack Obama is, or what Barack Obama's, or how he's being distorted, is because he somehow has embraced the radical left who didn't help him get to where he is. See, that's what's wrong with black politicians. Is they campaign on the black neighborhoods, and the black neighborhoods bring them to prominence, but then they get elected and forget who put them in the office. Forget who gave them a chance. Forget who gave them a career as a politician. That's what's wrong with black politicians. And it's what's wrong with Barack Obama. You allowing MSNBC, CNN, to tell you how to campaign and what you should be campaigning for? You've embraced the radical left who didn't give a shit about you on the south side of Chicago? Who wanted you to lose? They would have rathered Hillary Clinton. But for some reason, Barack Hussein Obama has embraced these people who are distorting the facts, who are forcing the president to take positions that's contrary to the people who made him who he is today. See, Barack Obama, what you need to do is you need to distance yourself from the MSNBCs and the CNNs, the ABCs, the NBCs, the CSNBC. You need to distance yourself from those people and re-embrace what it means to be black. Re-embrace the values that you had on the south side of Chicago, because that is what made you who you are today, Barack Obama. Gays wasn't there for you on the south side of Chicago. Religious bigots, atheists was not there for you on the south side of Chicago. The NBCs, MSNBCs didn't give a damn about you on the south side of Chicago. But yet you embrace their platform, and you wonder why you cannot sell out stadiums anymore. You wonder why the American people don't give a damn about you anymore. You wonder why black people are not enthusiastic about you anymore. Because you've embraced a platform that goes against everything that black people stand for. We didn't elect a black president to turn around and tell us that he's the president of all Americans. We didn't help elect a black president to get in the office and turn to black people and say that I cannot support any specific positions that will help you out. We elected a black president who would go in there and be black and fight for those who have suffered the most. We didn't elect or go out there and fight for a black president because we thought we was going to be in Afghanistan to 2024. We wanted to be out of Afghanistan. We didn't want nation building when we need nation building right here. And I urge all black people to step away from the voting process. That for this election in 2012, that all black people decide not to vote, to show the Democratic Party and these Uncle Tom Negroes who use your votes to destroy your own culture. Step away. It's time not to vote. To show these ignorant imbeciles who get in power and think that they can turn to the black community and say, I have nothing for you. Show them the power of your vote, because without black people, Mr. President, you will not be a president. If it wasn't for black people embracing you the way they did, white people would have never voted for you. The Democratic Party would have never supported you because they wanted Hillary Clinton. And what you need to understand is you need to walk back to who you were on the south side of Chicago. You need to walk back to the real values that got you to where you are. Not the values of the radical left, not the values of the Democratic Party. Because if it was up to the Democratic Party, you would have never became a president. So, Barack, you have an opportunity here to come out and immediately ask Joe Biden to resign, because he is not the type of person that black people can support anymore. Tired of his comments. I'm tired of him going out there saying things that's factually untrue, saying things that are just outrageous. It's time for Joe Biden to go, Mr. President, or black people cannot support you. Mr. President, it's time for you to make some real decisions on if you're going to be reelected or if you're going to be thrown out on your ass. Because I can guarantee you one thing. If you do not come out against homosexual marriage, if you do not ask Joe Biden to resign, then black people will not be there for you in November.